What's up? It's been a minute. Just chilling on a Sunday, and felt like it was time to throw one of these out there. Haven't done it in a while. I miss doing them. There's a lot on my mind. A lot I want to say. A lot I want to do. I don't know. This may just be a ramble. But the biggest thing is that I want to focus on in this video is reflection. I've had a lot going on in my life. I was this close to hiring my first employee, a huge milestone for me in my business because it's such a small business. It's a new business. I haven't been able to focus on it because I've gotten distracted from chasing a paycheck, which is a very bad thing to do. And I've got all these thoughts and these ideas and these things I want to do in my head. And I just recently had a birthday, and I am now 39 years old. I am knocking on 40. And I know a lot of people see me and they go, man, you don't look that old. But I am that old. And something about that number for me in my life scares the life out of me. And so I just feel like I've got all this stuff I want to do and all these things I want to start and all these things I want to create and build. And I feel like every day my time is like running out. I feel like days go by so much faster now and that I can't keep up. And then there's this other part of me where I feel like I'm getting old. I feel that. I'm like, man, I feel old. Not really physically. I feel okay. I feel good. I'm in super good health. I don't look 40. I don't feel 40. I don't act 40. I guess I'm not 40, but I say all that to say this is, you just reach this point in your life where you're like, what have I done? What have I accomplished? What have I achieved? And a lot of people would look at my life, and several of them do. A lot of my friends look at my life and they say, Roddy, you've done a lot. You had a great singing career. No, you didn't blow up and become, the next Elvis or something crazy like that. But you had a awesome voice. You did awesome things, but I walked away from it. And to go back to it would require a lot. Not say I couldn't do it, not say that I've given up on it completely, but I have moved away from that into something else now that I enjoy as equally, that's been a little more successful for me. I started a business in 2019. I've survived on my own accord, my own business. I've survived that since 2019 on my own. And a lot of people will look at it, and some of the haters will look at it and they'll say, well, you really just have a day job and somebody writes you a check. No, I have a business. I can make this as big or as small as I want. I work for myself. I do what I want to do as much or as little as I want. I've hosted some great events. My events company has done very well. I've made some great friends. I have two very well established and almost a third very well established car show. And some of those things now have changed this year. COVID's changed a lot of those things. A pandemic will change anything. But there's so much chaos in the world. There's so much going on, but at the same token, there's so much left. So I've got a lot I'm reflecting on. I've had a birthday. I've had events. I've had to travel for work. I've had a close encounter with almost hiring someone, which I thought was going to be really good. Just didn't work out. Looking at growing my Minty culture brand. That's something that I've had that's hung around that I've not been super successful with, but it hasn't failed. It hasn't died. That I've been able to grow this year exponentially. And I feel like that is fixing to move into something greater. And that company may almost end up being bigger than my Merritt Productions, and all of it may start coinciding and living together, which is what I really want it to do, is figuring out how to do that. I say all that to say this. It takes time. Maybe you're not 39, almost 40. Maybe you are. Maybe you're almost 50. Maybe you're almost 60. Maybe you're almost 30. There's a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I know that they are almost 30 and they're looking at life differently. There's some of you that are in your mid 20s that are like feeling like 25 is 30 or 40 or 50. And so with that, I would say this: reflect on what you got, because for me, I've had a lot of things to reflect on. I've got to make a lot of decisions. It's August, and it's mid-August. It's August almost over. I've got to make a lot of decisions here in the rest of 2021. The good thing is I don't have a as severe pandemic ahead of me. Now that could change, and a lot of people right now in this climate that we're in will argue and say you got that changes a lot for you. Yeah, it could, but I don't think it's going to be as detrimental as what a lot of people think it's going to be. Hopefully, I'm very hopeful of that. It doesn't look that direction, but aside from that, that's a distraction that you can't worry about. You have to move forward, and you have to decide: am I going to be a hermit, and am I going to stay here where I'm at? I'm going to stay safe, or am I going to expand? For me, I want to expand. It's what I've got to do. It's part of who I am. It's the things that I have to push them forward. Even if there is a pandemic, I have to push forward. Even if there's a reoccurrence of a shutdown, I have to push forward. So from now to the end of the year, I've got a lot of stuff that I have to just move forward with. A lot of big decisions I have to make, a lot of announcements that I have to make, a lot of work that I have to do. And the hard part about that right now is I have a lot of things holding me back. And so I have to fix those things. I have to do that. I can't depend on someone else over here or someone else over there or someone else behind this screen to fix those things for me. I have to do those. I have to decide. I'm sitting here in my kitchen at my table. It's 1:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Tomorrow, for a lot of you, the work week starts tomorrow. A lot of people go, well, you got to go to your job tomorrow. I go to my job. I'm working now. But what I do, I love. So yeah, it's work. And the people that say, love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, that's false. If you love what you do, you'll work 10 times as hard to make it happen. And so I have so much stuff I have to do. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with my brand next year. Am I going to go to more events? Events have done really well for us. Do we go to more events? Do we build a show car? Do we build 2 show cars? Do we get a truck and a trailer? What do we do? Got to figure that out. Got to decide that. Got to make that decision. My events company has changed. 2 of my partners stepped away, not on bad terms. A lot of people are like, they stepped away. They're focusing on their family. They're at an age where they're wanting to focus more on their kids and their family, and their family's getting older, and their kids are growing up a lot more, and they want to put that focus there versus focusing on events. That happens. In business, people hear stuff like that and they always think the worst, but in business, stuff like that happens all the time, and that's all this is it's a business. Businesses change leadership. Board members change, board members retire, and just stuff like that happens. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. But I have a decision to make now of what to do with my events and where they go and what they're named and how they're hosted and that sort of thing, because it changes, because the people are changing, the dynamic changes. So I've got the brand stuff I've got to figure out. I've got the show stuff I got to figure out. And then there's my business itself. Wanting it to scale, wanting it to be bigger, having multiple flows of income, wanting to step off into some new areas and aspects of that business. I don't necessarily want to get away from the marketing area of that business, but I want to work with different companies, and I have specific companies in mind that I want to work with. I love social media and I love the digital marketing of the world of it, but there's so much more out there to it. There's so much more I can offer. And then you've got to get people on board, because they look at you and they go, well, yeah, you've been in business for 2 years. That's great. That's awesome. But, I don't have my name on the side of a building, and I don't have, 15, 20, 30, 50 people working for me, and people look at those things, unfortunately. In the market area that I'm in, which is the southern region, the southern states, and being that all of my business that I generate is locally here in Mississippi, Mississippi is very, very behind, and people are still very apprehensive and very mistaken on how social media marketing works, digital marketing works, so forth and so on. I'll give you an example. If you're just wondering, one of the companies that I work for, they make a post and they're posting their inventory and they're posting about their business, and people will ask and they'll go, why didn't you put the price of your product up there? So here's a little tidbit. On social media, especially now, Facebook has really cracked down on this, is if you look like you are a commercial style ad, even a post, even though it's not an actual ad that you buy or create, that's a totally separate thing. A post, if you go to your page, whether it's your personal page or you have a business page, if you go to that page and you click post and you write something and put a picture, that's a post. That is not an ad. That's not an ad. That's not an ad. Period. A lot of people say, yeah, it is. It's an ad. It's not an ad. I have business owners that call those ads. Those are not ads. Those are posts. And I correct people on a regular basis. These are posts. And they'll say, what kind of ads are we running? And I go, well, you're running carousel. No. What the other ads that we do on a regular basis? Those are posts. Those are not ads. They work completely different. They're built different. They're designed different. They interact with people differently. They reach people differently. Those are two separate worlds. So people don't understand that. They don't understand that there's a method to why you're doing what they do, and they want to question that. They want to say, why didn't you put the price in there? Well, because we want you to see our stuff. We don't want to get pushed down because Facebook's algorithms goes, oh, that's a commercial post, they're trying to sell something. We don't want that. We want social. We want realism. We want this live, unpopulated, organic. They want it to feel real. They want it to feel like it's shot on a phone. They want it to feel like it's authentic. They don't want to feel like that it's heavily generated and saturated, and they put that out there. If you're wondering why some of these people with big celebrity names get pushed up and their stuff works, well, it's simple. The reason theirs works is because, one, they have a huge following and people interact with it organically. They interact with it socially. They want this social element. That's why it's called social media. So back to what I was saying, you have to reflect on those things. You have to reflect on how the world changes, how social media changes. My business is affected by that. How do I reach companies? For instance, I want to get into real estate. I don't necessarily want to sell real estate, but I want to help people sell real estate. I want to get into that market. I want to be the social media guy in my area that is working with all real estate agents, and I cannot get my foot in the door because I've used this guy for years. Well, this guy that you're using, I'm sorry, but he sucks. I don't see your post. I don't see any post. I have constantly talked about real estate, reached out to real estate, hashtag real estate, liked real estate postings, liked posts from real estate agents, and it's still not showing up on my feed. It's not showing up on my feed because it's not being done correctly and properly. And that's what I want to do, is I want to help those people. I get it. I'm a small guy in a big pond. I'm a very small fish, but I know what I know. And so I have to figure all that out. I have to figure out how I'm going to network with those people, how I'm going to move with those people, how am I going to get those people to trust me, how I'm going to get those people involved and engaged in what I'm doing. So today is a Sunday of reflection. I'm reflecting on all of this, and it's a little overwhelming to the point where it's almost feels like it's too much to do. And it will cause you to give up. It will cause you to want to step away. I've thought about it too. Is it worth it? Is it worth sticking with what I'm doing? Is it worth me continuing the process? Is the brand worth it? It's figuring out how to get there. Do I have to buy a truck and a trailer? How am I going to do that? Do I rent something? All these things are in my head of what I've got to do, and I've got to figure it out. And then once I feel like I have it figured out, and it may be the right or wrong decision, but it's the decision I make, which is what I have to do, is make a decision. I have to make that decision, and then I have to do it. I have to execute it. if it fails and it's wrong and it costs me a lot of money, then you learn from it and you go, okay, don't do that again. We have to do something else. So when you're managing basically 3 companies like that alone by yourself, you have to be careful who your sounding boards are. And I've tried to be as reserved as possible with putting it out there. But then the harder part is you have people who will push you down. So I have people that I work for who are oppressors. I have friends who I'm friends with that oppress what I'm doing because they don't see me as the guy to make these things happen that I'm trying to do. For whatever reason, my status is not in a form of respect to them. They don't have a, they're not to say they disrespect me as a person or as their friend, but as a business owner, as a show host, as a brand, everyone knows better and everyone sees better and everyone tells me that I should do this or that. But the thing I keep reminding myself is, and you should do this too, most of those people that are like that to you, that speak to you like that or treat you like that, it's not a personal thing. They're trying to help you. But they are seeing things from the outside looking in. They are not executing these things. They are not trying to execute these things. They're not trying to build these things. They haven't walked the road that you have. They've just watched you and they feel they see and know better. Listen to what they say. You can listen to what they say because they may inspire you to do some things, and you can take nuggets of what they have as wisdom, apply it to what you're doing and expand it beyond your talents. But most of the time, the people that are trying to influence you this type of way, they're not doing what you're doing. So they don't 100% understand. So you can't hold them 100% liable for their actions and their words. Don't hold them accountable to those things because it will frustrate you. It will crush your motivation. It will crush you. It will give you feelings of doubt. It will give you feelings of anger. It will give you feelings of frustration. You just don't want all those negative things. You got to push those aside, move on with them. So Sunday reflection, what can you do? What are you doing? What are you willing to do? And then who are you listening to? Because at the end of the day, this is all yours. When you're sitting alone in your kitchen, when you're working on a Sunday and everyone else is taking it easy and watching TV, when you are the one that has to make the decisions of what happens next in your life, what, when, where, and who. Because it should be all what's from here. What are you doing from here, from your heart? What's your heart telling you to do? What's your gut telling you to do? Gut feeling. Where's it pushing you? So I'm casual, wearing just a t-shirt, threw a hat on because my hair's a freaking mess. Because I'm working, I'm sitting in the kitchen. You can see my junk everywhere. This is impromptu, but think about that. You are in charge of your life and your destiny. Whether you're faith-based or not, if you're a faith-based person, God has given you the ability to make a decision. That's called free will. If you're not a faith-based person, guess what? As a human being who has no rules and nothing set in stone, you have the ability to choose. That's still free will. So it's up to you. It's up to you to make the best decision based off of your heart, what's in your head, what your gut feeling is telling you, where to go from there. Hopefully this helps you guys, helps me get it off my chest, think a little bit about it moving forward. I'm going to go back to work. I've spent 20 minutes talking to you guys. Hope you all have an amazing day. Hope that you see your dreams come true. It's August. You have till December to make some big moves, and then boom, January hits, 2022's here, and you've got to hit the ground running. Hope you all have a great day. See ya.